Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy Chris. So today we're going to bring a video on this GLC 300. Shout out to Mercedes Draper. If you guys are in the local Salt Lake area and you guys need a Mercedes, go to them, go to my man Corey, he'll hook you guys up. Now, my second love has always been Mercedes. I love personally Porsche and Mercedes-Benz, and I've actually had one of these before as well. It wasn't a 22, it was actually a 2017, but these drive fairly different. And one of the things that I really like about them is the new styling that they have. After 2019, they kind of changed the headlights. You can see what they look like right now. I really like the way those look. And then the front bumper and the fascia changed up a little. They had a couple of different options as far as like the rims are concerned. And then they went ahead and changed the way the back looks. So this one is not the coupe version, it's the regular version, which honestly, in my opinion, is the best one I have. I know a lot of people like the coupe, but the coupe is a little bit annoying because you lose a lot of the space, and I feel like a lot of the time people are getting SUVs because they want to be able to put things in there and go ahead and use it for the trunk space. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. So you got your thing right here for your privacy that you can go ahead and use. You got your mats, and then if you need to, you can go ahead and push the seat forward. I really like the interior on this vehicle as well. The tan interior Mercedes is actually one of my favorite. One of the options that you could have that this one doesn't have is a Burmester. I highly suggest that if you're looking for a vehicle, make sure that it has Burmester because the sound quality difference is a lot better. And they also tend to sell a little bit easier than the regular ones. As you can see, the leather is nice and soft, really comfortable. You get some pretty decent space too. I'm not exactly the tallest, but I still have plenty of leg room down here. And then you can go ahead and change the AC so that people are more comfortable. The big thing that I really like about this vehicle is actually the infotainment system. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. Just go ahead and click on that button. Close this right away. Show you guys, and they get really good gas mileage for the type of vehicle. I've took one of these all the way to California and it was really comfortable. I really liked how much comfortable and quieter this is compared to a lot of SUVs. And the big thing that I like about Mercedes is just the attention to detail. Some of the Audi ones look really nice as far as like the leather and design is concerned, but they don't go that extra step beyond. I really like the way that this is shaped like a seat, and I love that the buttons are made out of metal. You know, this handle here made out of aluminum. It makes it feel like it's a really premium interior. That's why I stay with either Mercedes or Porsche, because I've noticed that all the other ones share common components and everything feels really plasticky, and I personally don't like that. Now, mine didn't have this. It had the regular cluster that was analog, and I really like the new digital one, and you can go ahead and change it based on your driving modes as well. And the way that you do that is that you go here and you go up or down, and then it'll change the different driving modes. So you can have it into regular, sport plus. This is so that you can go ahead and turn it off so that when you get at a stoplight it doesn't turn off automatically. You got your parking sensors, and then I'll go ahead and put it in reverse so you guys can see what the backup camera looks like. This one has like the full IS view camera, which is really nice. And the lanes will actually change based on the direction that the steering wheel is going. That's one of the features that I really like about this car, and it made parking really easy. And I like the high definition quality in the camera. On the ones that are like 15, 16, 17, they don't look as crisp as these ones do, and I really love the way that it looks. And you can go ahead and change the different settings right here so that you can get a better look of what that looks like. And then if you put it into drive, it'll have the sensors in the front that'll show you kind of how things are. You go in here, and this is how you go ahead and change your AC. These you can always put in auto, and then it'll have automatic windshield wipers. These are your like garage spaces. You can kind of go ahead and take a look at. Now on 19, they started including Apple CarPlay. Beforehand, it was an option. It's either you got the bigger screen or you don't get Apple CarPlay at all. This one is equipped with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You just go in here and plug things in, and then you're good to go. Now, these come with this touchpad right here. This one is a lot better than the older one. The older touchpad didn't really work too well. And then it had a knob. I would always use the knob instead. But since this one is touchscreen, I just prefer personally to go ahead and use the touchscreen instead. This is so you can go ahead and change the traction control. And now we are going to go ahead and take it out for a drive. You got like the steering wheel right here where you can have like the different buttons. So you can go in here and navigate the different systems and kind of look through the different menus. I personally never use them. I usually just have it here so that it tells you like the speed. And the nice thing is when you have the package that gives you all the driving assisting packages, when you're driving on the freeway, it will actually tell you the speed limit, so that if you guys have ever been driving and you guys are wondering like, how fast am I supposed to be going, it'll save it on here. And if you have adaptive cruise control, it will automatically slow down to the speed that the new speed limit is. And then as it speeds up, it'll speed up, which is really cool. I really do like that. So you got your different menus that you can go ahead and use. You never really use the navigation, if I'm being honest. Most of the time you just kind of have it at this because you just use Apple CarPlay. So we're gonna go ahead and take it out for a drive, and you guys can go ahead and see how quiet and how nice of a vehicle it is. Man, it sounds pretty good, but I love how comfortable this is. Like, going from the 911, like, this is such a much better vehicle, and it's so much more comfortable and quieter. I love it. See, you don't really hear anything when you go over the bumps. Nice and quiet. I felt like when I did the review on the 911, you couldn't really like hear anything that I was saying, you know? Navigate the different menus. So it looks like this one's averaging 28 miles per the gallon. So that's really good. And then this tells you the range, and it kind of gives you an idea of your driving habits. We're gonna go ahead and take it out, put it on the freeway, maybe do one pull, and that's really about it as far as the driving goes. You guys get the idea of it. Now this one does feel a little bit bigger compared to the Porsche. The Porsche, that's one of the things that I really loved about the Macan. It was that when you go ahead and drive it, it still feels like it's like a C300 or a smaller vehicle. It doesn't really drive like an SUV. This one, you can definitely tell the difference when you're turning on the weight of the vehicle. But if you're used to driving SUVs, then you won't really notice it. But if this is your first SUV, it is something that's going to take you about a week to get used to. Oh, man. It is nice. There's something just about a Mercedes, man. Seriously. The way they drive. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and turn. Now, I went ahead and changed it to Sport Plus so that you guys can get a feel. So as you can see, even the regular C300, and again, this is not an AMG model. This isn't a 43 or a 63. They sound pretty good and they have really good pickup. Like out of a 4-cylinder, geez, it's crazy. And then of course, like I'm gonna go ahead and drive it on the stiffest setting so that we can kind of compare. The response did get a little bit better. And one of the favorite things that about Mercedes is that it has an individual setting. So usually what I do is I like having steering wheels that are like a little bit stiffer compared to most vehicles. So I will put the steering wheel on the stiffest setting so that I feel like I have the most amount of control. But then I will put the driving mode on just comfort. I don't really use the eco mode because it makes it so that it feels very limp. And personally, I don't really like that. But in comfort, you still get really good gas mileage, but you can get the more sporty feeling as far as the steering wheel is concerned. So that's usually how I set up my individual. Or you can have it in sport. That way when you step on it, it'll be a little bit closer to Sport Plus, but still get good gas mileage when you like go off the gas. Obviously, it's gonna have really good brakes. Man, I miss having a Mercedes. I'm not even gonna lie. And I really like the ambient lighting settings that this vehicle has. You can't really tell right now, but you can kind of see the hint of blue. And it doesn't have to be blue. You can go into the systems and then actually change that yourself as well. So you can put green, purple, both colors, a teal, whatever color you want to go ahead and set up, you can go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and take a turn. Yeah, even at the most stiffest setting, the vehicle is still really, really comfortable, right? It's not like the 911 when you get in there and everything's like bouncing and you can't hear anything. And that's one of the problems that you have sometimes with the really high performance SUVs. Like when you go over to the GL63, that suspension is a lot stiffer. If you go into like the BMW, the X6M, the suspension gets a lot stiffer, so it no longer drives like a luxury SUV. It drives more like a sports car. And if that's what you're into, great. But most of the people that are driving these, they want to still have a Mercedes, right? They want that quality, that craftsmanship that a Mercedes brings. That's why you're getting an SUV, you know? If you want a sports car, you can go and get a 911 or a GT, or even a C63 Coupe. If you want something like this, this is the way to go, definitely. A lot of people care about the badge, but if you want the AMG badge, I do highly recommend having the 43 instead of the 63 so that you get the better gas mileage. The people that are going to know what a 63 is aren't going to care that you have an SUV. They're going to be like, well, why didn't you get a G-Wagon? The people that, like, if you just want the badge so people can say, wow, you have an AMG, just get a 43. No one knows the difference, honestly. And you don't want to really get into that. You know, you just want to get a vehicle because you personally like it and you personally enjoy the way that it drives. And this is a really, really, really great car. I really love Mercedes. They hold their interior like really well. I love the quality. I love the way the leather feels. I love the way the heated seats feel, the cooled seats. Everything about Mercedes is just my favorite. Before I started doing this and I started working at Google, my actual name used to be Chris Benz because I loved it. My very first dream car used to be a C300. So I figured what more better way to start a video than by doing a video on this vehicle right here. We're gonna go ahead and park it. I was gonna back in, but we're not doing that because this is a lot easier than backing it in, making sure that everything is set up properly. Ooh, we are gonna park somewhere else actually. Oh, never mind. We're gonna put this right here. And then I'll do one last walk around so you guys can go ahead and take a look at the vehicle. See if you guys have any questions. That is one of the things that I don't like. The way that you put this car into drive is by pushing this down or pushing it up, and then you put it in park by pushing this button. Sometimes you think that you put it in drive or reverse and you're still in the old driving setting. So you want to go ahead and take a look at it right here. It'll tell you where you're at. So if you see you step on the brake, that's to change the driving mode. And then when you put it in reverse, it'll show you reverse, show you the backup camera. When you put it into drive, it'll say drive, and then when you park it, it'll say P, and then you go ahead and just click on that and it'll automatically shut off